Good morning and welcome to News at 10 on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor and here are the latest headlines. Union Cabinet expansion today. 19 new faces expected to be inducted. Some ministers to be promoted. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's Principal Secretary Rajendra Kumar to be produced in court after being arrested by CBI over corruption charges. Multiple bomb attacks rock Saudi Arabia. 4 people killed at the Medina Mosque. Bombers also strike in Qatif and Jeddah. Big success for NASA's historic attempt. Spacecraft Juno enters Jupiter's orbit. And in Wimbledon, Sania Mirza and Martina Hingis cruise into the quarterfinals. Roger Federer, Andy Murray and Williams sisters also through to the quarters. Well, the biggest story this morning, the much talked about expansion of the Union Cabinet will take place today. And ahead of the changes in his team, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that it will reflect the budget focus and priorities. Now, Modi met a group of journalists in New Delhi on Monday where he talked about various other issues, including the Dhaka carnage. During the interaction, he referred to the expansion of his Council of Ministers. He also said a 4-point agenda on minimum government for maximum governance was the expeditious clearance of office files, improving ease of doing business, reduced time for cabinet note finalization, and government no longer working in silos. The second expansion of the Modi cabinet is likely to focus on poll-bound states of Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, with some ruling party MPs also being sworn in as the Minister of State.
The much-awaited expansion of the Union Cabinet will now finally take place on Tuesday at 11 a.m. It will be the second expansion of the Modi government after he came to power in May 2014. The exercise is likely to focus on the poll-bound states, specifically Uttar Pradesh. Sources say those who may get a berth include Anupriya Patel, an OBC MP from Uttar Pradesh belonging to NDA ally Apna Dal, Mahendra Nath Pandey, a BJP MP from Uttar Pradesh, and Krishan Raj, his party colleague from UP. SS Ahluwalia, a BJP MP from West Bengal, Vijay Goyal and PP Chaudhary, both MPs from Rajasthan, Purushottam Rupala from Gujarat, and Ajay Tamta, a Dalit MP from Uttarakhand, a state that will go to polls with Uttar Pradesh next year. RPI MP Ramdas Athawale confirmed his inclusion in the cabinet.
उन्होंने हमको बताया कि भाई कल आपको शपथ लेनी है और इस बारे में मुझे बहुत बड़ी खुशी है कि भाई नरेंद्र मोदी जी और अमित शाह जी ने रिपब्लिकन पार्टी ऑफ इंडिया को एक बहुत ही अच्छी संधि देने का काम किया है.
While sources say most of these will be inducted as ministers of state, a few ministers are likely to be dropped and inducted into the organization. However, top ministers are unlikely to be disturbed. Meanwhile, one of the oldest allies of BJP, the Shiv Sena, seemed unhappy at being offered MOS portfolios instead of cabinet ranks.
राज्यमंत्री नाही अजूनही म्हणून म्हटलं ना की राज्यमंत्री गेल्या वेळेलाच देत होते, परंतु त्यावेळेला सुद्धा आधी केंद्रीय मंत्रिपद त्यांनी सांगितलं, नंतर राज्यमंत्री सांगितलं. म्हटलं मला असे तुकडे टाकले नकोय, जे काय होणार असेल ते सन्मानाने होऊ द्या, पण आम्ही लाचार म्हणून कोणाच्या दारामध्ये जाणार नाही.
The opposition seems to be unimpressed, calling it a futile exercise.
I think that is a futile exercise. I think a reshuffle should be about merit, performance. And there are various ministries whose performance is much wanting, and you should focus on that instead of trying to showcase and do cosmetic changes to garner votes.
Expand or contract. That is the PM's prerogative. But the people of India are looking for results.
Including the Prime Minister, the Modi cabinet has 66 ministers currently, against a maximum of 82 who can be allowed. There is also a vacancy in the Council of Ministers after Sports Minister Sarbanand Sonowal became Chief Minister of Assam. With Pranab Goswami, Vishal Dahiya, Rajya Sabha TV, Delhi.
And for more on this, let's go across to my colleague Vishal there, who's joining us. Vishal, now Prime Minister Modi is to induct as many as 19 new ministers as he expands his Union Council of Ministers today. So which are the names that we are going to see added to the ministers list today?
Well, the names which we just saw in the news report there just a short while ago, apart from that, there are several other names which our sources say will be inducted, a total of 19 ministers, in fact. Also, in addition to that, there is a likelihood that one of the MOS independent charge ministers will be elevated, and that name which is doing the rounds is the MOS independent charge of Environment Ministry, Prakash Javadekar. Although there were a few more names about MOS independent charge being elevated, but there is no confirmation on that as of now. In addition to that, there will be, at least 2 to 3 ministers which our sources say who will be dropped from the ministry, clearly based on the government says performance. And obviously, if you look at from the party's viewpoint, it would be a political tactic as well.
Yes.
The names of those who are likely to get dropped include Ram Shankar Katheria, the MOS HRD, Nihal Chand, as well as Samarlal Jat. Now, the compensation in terms has already been made that there are others from these states who will be inducted. In fact, if you look at those 19 names, then those 19 leaders are from 10 different states. But
Yes.
a clear focus has been on the poll-bound states of Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. We have Ajay Tamta from Uttarakhand. We have Anupriya Patel from Uttar Pradesh. We have a Dalit BJP MP from Shahjahanpur in Uttar Pradesh, and another of his BJP colleague from the same state. Also, our sources say that once the oath-taking ceremony is over,
Yes.
then there is a likelihood that Apna Dal, whose MP Anupriya Patel will be taking oath as minister, is most likely to merge with BJP, sort of a boost for the BJP in the state of Uttar Pradesh, which is all set to go to polls after 6 months.
As you were mentioning, Vishal, about the upcoming assembly polls in Uttar Pradesh, how that is going to influence the choice today. But Prime Minister Modi has said that the expansion will also reflect budget focus and priorities. What is that supposed to mean? Because surely it will be a careful balancing act based on political considerations.
Well, yes, a clear link between that statement of the Prime Minister in yesterday's meeting with some senior editors can be, linked to the very fact that if you classify these 19 ministers according to the caste combination, according to the category combination, and as well as in terms of women and minorities, then clearly 2 of them are from scheduled tribes, 5 of them belong to the scheduled caste category, 2 of them are minorities, and 2 of them are said to be women candidates. So clearly, an indication is that just like the NDA government has put focus on all these segments of the society in terms of budgetary allocation, that particular sentiment is reflected in the expansion of the cabinet and in share of these particular categories of the society in the union cabinet as well. Apart from that,
Yes.
well, yes, as I was saying earlier, political compulsions do come in
Yes.
place, and they also have a very strong stamp on the choice of candidates who will be
Yes.
inducted in the cabinet, and that list of 19 ministers is a clear example of that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vishal, for all those details. We'll keep coming back to you. You keep tracking all those developments. Let's move on in the bulletin now. Well, Arvind Kejriwal's Principal Secretary Rajendra Kumar will be produced at the Patiala House Court today, along with 4 others. Remember, Kumar was arrested by the CBI yesterday, more than 6 months after his office was raided by investigation agencies following reports of alleged misuse of power. Here is a report. After a day of interrogations, senior officers of the Arvind Kejriwal government, including Principal Secretary Rajendra Kumar, were arrested by the CBI on Monday in a 50 crore corruption case. Kumar is accused of abusing his official position by awarding 5 government tenders between 2007 and 2015 to a private firm, causing a loss of 12 crore rupees to the Delhi government. Deputy Secretary Tarun Sharma and owners of private firm Endeavour Systems were also taken into custody.
The allegations relate to bribery and abuse of official position by the said senior civil servant and others to favor a Delhi-based private company in award of contracts of the Delhi government.
Launching an all-out attack, the Delhi government accused the centre of paralysing Delhi government. Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia accused Prime Minister Narendra Modi of taking revenge for Delhi poll loss.
प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी टू सीएम अरेस्ट हो गए, उनको अरेस्ट कर लिया गया। डिप्टी सेक्रेटरी टू चीफ मिनिस्टर, उनको अरेस्ट कर लिया गया। एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी टू चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफिस, उनको ट्रांसफर कर दिया गया। पूरे के पूरे चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफिस को पैरालाइज करने के लिए नहीं किया जा रहा है।
The opposition, meanwhile, has demanded Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal to come out clean in the entire issue.
जो लगातार करप्शन के बारे में बोलते रहे हैं कि हम करप्शन खत्म करेंगे, लेकिन उनकी नाक के नीचे मुख्यमंत्री के साथ बैठने वाले लोग लगातार दिल्ली के अंदर करप्शन कर रहे हैं, दिल्ली के पैसे को किस प्रकार से उड़ा रहे हैं और करप्शन को पनाह और संरक्षण दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री केजरीवाल दे रहे हैं।
Rajendra Kumar, a 1989 batch IAS officer and IIT Kharagpur alumnus, was appointed Principal Secretary to the Chief Minister in February last year when the Aam Aadmi Party came to power for the second time. He also served as Principal Secretary to Kejriwal during his 49-day stint as the Chief Minister. The CBI had registered a case against Kumar and others in December last year. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Let's move on to the bulletin. Well, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has said that indication of good rains will further boost the country's growth momentum. Now, speaking at an event in Raipur, Jaitley said that India was a sweet spot in the subdued global economy. The Finance Minister added that at a time when the global economy is slow, India is an example with a higher growth rate. He further said that India was the least impacted by Britain's decision to exit the European Union. He said that India's economy is robust and is capable of handling changes.
आज तो परिस्थिति ये है पूरी विश्व की कि विश्व की विकास दर थोड़ा धीमी है, ग्लोबल ग्रोथ कमजोर है। जब पूरे विश्व में बड़े पैमाने की ग्रोथ वापस लौटेगी तो इसका प्रयोग और बड़ा होगा। ये साइकिल्स हैं, दुनिया में चलते हैं, इकोनॉमिक साइकिल्स हैं। उस बदलते साइकिल की एक प्रतीक्षा है।
Meanwhile, in related news, now the Met Department has issued an orange alert after heavy rains lashed many areas of Uttarakhand. The warning implies that people in the affected areas should prepare themselves for any contingency. Now, Chief Minister of the state, Harish Rawat, has also reviewed rescue operations in the state.
Government agencies working round the clock to locate survivors in Uttarakhand, where a cloudburst on Friday washed away villages in Pithoragarh district.
जो नुकसान हुआ था उसमें सबसे ज़्यादा नुकसान हमारा डीडीहाट तहसील में हुआ। वहाँ पर जो डेथ्स हुई थी वो हमारे 12 तो डेड हैं और उसके अलावा जो है हमारे 12 मिसिंग लोग हैं जिनको अभी हम ढूंढ नहीं पाए हैं। उसके अलावा हमारे आमथल में एक जगह है बेरीनाग, वहाँ भी नुकसान हुआ था। तो काफ़ी ज़्यादा नुकसान हो चुका है अभी तक हमारे यहाँ। करीब 6 लोग गंभीर रूप से घायल हैं और उसके अलावा जो है करीब 9 लोग ऐसे हैं जो सामान्य रूप से घायल हुए हैं। तो रिलीफ वर्क चल रहा है। जो लोग के मकान ढह गए हैं उन लोगों को हमने शेल्टर्स दिए हुए हैं, उनको वहाँ पर खाना प्रोवाइड किया जा रहा है। उसके अलावा उनको बिस्तर दिया गया है, रहने की व्यवस्था की जा रही है।
Meanwhile, the Vidyut Nigam took an initiative to provide free mobile charging services for the residents living there.
यहाँ बिजली नहीं है 2-3 दिन से। जब ये आपदा आई थी उस हमारा एक 33 kV का बड़ी लाइन का खंभा जो है अनंतप्रयाग में जो है पूरी तरह से बह गया था। उसको उस लाइन को बना करके हम आज आए वहाँ से। जब यहाँ लोग परेशान हो गए तो तब हमने ये मतलब मोबाइल चार्ज के लिए ये जनरेटर तैयार किया और लोगों को सेवा देने की कोशिश करी।
2 दिन से लगे हैं यहाँ काम पे। हर जगह वो है कि यहाँ पे जो कंडीशन बुरी है, माने चलने के लिए बड़ी परेशानी है। सारे महल्ले में लोगों को बड़ी समस्या है।
The Met Department has predicted a slight improvement in the weather in the next 48 hours that could help restoration work. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Harish Rawat also announced an increase in assistance for Pithoragarh and Chamoli districts.
हमारी SDRF से लेकर के दूसरी सारी जो इस काम में लगी हुई प्रशिक्षित दल है वो टुकड़ियां अपने अपनी जगहों पर काम कर रही हैं। उनकी प्रेजेंस हमने और बढ़ा दी है। हमने इस समय फौरी तौर पर हर जिलाधिकारी के पास पहले से 4-4 करोड़ रुपया दे करके रखे हुए थे और अब आज मैंने 15 करोड़ रुपया इस मद में फिर से रिलीज कर दी है। डिपार्टमेंट्स को भी हमने कहा है कि आप अपने उसका एडजस्टमेंट कर लें ताकि जहां आकस्मिक रूप से काम करने की जरूरत है वो आकस्मिक रूप से काम किया जा सके।
Heavy rains lashed parts of Assam as more than 80,000 people have been affected by the latest wave of floods in Lakhimpur, Dhemaji, Nagaon and Jorhat district. According to the Assam State Disaster Management Authority, more than 4,100 hectares of crop have been damaged in the floods in these areas. The Met Department has warned extremely heavy rains in Assam, Meghalaya and very heavy rain in Sub-Himalayan West Bengal, Sikkim, Jharkhand, Bihar and East Madhya Pradesh.
अब लोग देख रहे हैं इतना पानी हो रहा है, सरकार ध्यान ही नहीं दे रहा है। 2-3 दिन से बारिश होता है, खाली पानी होता है, पानी ज्यादा से ज्यादा बहुत ज्यादा होता है पानी, आदमी लोग जा ही नहीं सकता है, बाहर नहीं हो सकता है, इसीलिए बहुत प्रॉब्लम है।
Temperatures in the national capital hovered below the normal levels after rains, but high humidity that shot up to 100% added to the discomfort of residents. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in news at 10, we'll take a very short break. Up next, we'll tell you about NASA's very successful mission, but that after a short break. Stay with us.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity, promoting public discourse. Events that motivate, inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries, Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m.
Welcome back. And now all the details on NASA's successful historic attempt. Well, its spacecraft Juno has entered planet Jupiter's orbit after a 5-year journey. The spacecraft travelled at a speed of more than 2 lakh kilometers per hour towards the planet, and the mission is to probe the origin of the solar system. Remember, this Juno spacecraft was launched 5 years ago from Cape Canaveral in Florida. Now, the spacecraft has 9 instruments that will find out more about Jupiter's gravity, radiation field, atmospheric chemistry, aurorae, magnetism and other vital signs, along with pictures. The data will be sent to Earth over the course of the next few years, with the final bits of information set to arrive in February 2018. All right, for more on this, let's go across to senior scientist Gohar Raza, who's joining us on the phone line. Good morning, Mr. Raza, and congratulations.
Good morning.
Welcome to Jupiter. Well, these words were heard at the radio in NASA's JPL, with the scientists cheering, clapping, hugging each other as the Juno entered Jupiter's planet. So, are we a step closer to unraveling the mysteries of the solar system?
That it's an important mission, very important mission for humanity. Therefore, jubilation and clapping among the scientists. They have all the reasons to celebrate the successful injection of Juno into the orbit. It's a very important mission in the sense that a lot of questions are unanswered about the origin of our solar system. And the other planets which are closer to Earth are solid planets, and which may give us a lot of ideas about how the origin of solar system happened. And
yes,
that also means that how the origin of what is the origin of our entire universe.
Yes.
In fact, all those mysteries we are trying to solve as scientists since science has come about.
Yes.
Or since the advent of the civilization. And these are important questions because they not only change your horizon in terms of scientific information and expand the pool of scientific knowledge, but also change our perception about ourselves.
Absolutely.
Because earlier we thought that we are the center of the universe.
Yes.
Now the question is that how did we come into being? Meaning the entire cosmos. Whether there is only one cosmos or there are many cosmoses.
True, true.
And whether they are parallel cosmos.
Yes.
All these questions are important because it changes completely our understanding about ourselves as
Definitely.
well. Yeah.
All right,
So,
a big achievement not only for NASA but also mankind, because NASA successfully entered the Jupiter's orbit. Well, we'll keep tracking all those developments there. Well, let's move on to some other international news. Well, bombers struck at 3 places in Saudi Arabia, including at a mosque in Medina. While 4 people were killed at the Medina Mosque housing Prophet Muhammad's tomb, there were also strikes outside the U.S. consulate in Jeddah and in Shia-majority Qatif. Now, analysts believe that the string of assaults could be the work of Islamic State terror group. Wave of terror as the holy month of Ramadan ends and Muslims prepare to celebrate the festival of Eid ul-Fitr. String of suicide bombings hit 3 Saudi Arabian cities over a 24-hour period. 2 of the attacks failed, but 4 people were killed in the third. All the attacks appear to be coordinated, targeting both Saudi security forces and Western interests. While no group has claimed responsibility, experts believe it is the handiwork of the Islamic State. The first attack occurred before dawn near the U.S. consulate in Jeddah. The attacker was killed after detonating an explosive. 2 policemen were also injured in the attack. The second assault took place in Qatif, in eastern Saudi Arabia, where a suicide bomber attempted to launch an attack at a Shiite mosque but failed, killing himself in the process. There were no injuries. The deadliest occurred in Medina, where a suicide bomber killed himself and 4 security officers and injured 5 others after he detonated his explosives after being stopped outside the Prophet's mosque. The mosque is the burial place of Prophet Muhammad and Medina, the second holiest city in Islam after Mecca. The strikes come after dramatic attacks last week in Bangladesh, Turkey, Yemen and Iraq that killed scores of people. They are claimed or thought to be carried out by Islamic State, as the group apparently looks beyond its strongholds in northern Iraq and Syria, following repeated defeats on the battlefield. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. Now more international news in World Wrap. Australia's opposition leader has urged Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull to resign after a cliffhanger election failed to deliver a clear winner. Labour Party leader Bill Shorten said that Turnbull has delivered instability. The election result remained too close to call as counting of votes resumed this morning. However, Turnbull remains confident of his Conservative coalition be able to form a majority government. The number of people killed in Sunday's suicide bomb attack in the Iraqi capital Baghdad has risen to 165. The government has declared 3 days of national mourning after the huge blast, which also injured 225 people. A lorry packed with explosives was detonated in the Karra district while families were shopping for the holiday marking the end of Ramadan. It is believed to be the deadliest single bomb attack in Iraq since 2007. United Nations Chief Ban Ki-moon has denounced Israel's decision to expand the construction of settlements in the West Bank and Jerusalem. Ban Ki-moon said that settlements were illegal under international law and called on the Israel government to halt and reverse such actions in the interests of peace. Israel approved plans to build some 560 new houses in West Bank as well as 240 more units throughout occupied East Jerusalem. The leader of the right-wing UK Independence Party, Nigel Farage, has announced that he was stepping down after realising his ambition to win a vote for Britain to leave the EU. The 23rd of June Brexit vote has the 2 main political parties of the country into disarray, with the ruling Conservatives seeking a replacement for Prime Minister David Cameron and lawmakers from the main opposition Labour Party also voting to withdraw confidence in their leader Jeremy Corbyn. On to some sporting news now, but first up, all the latest from Wimbledon. Well, the defending champions Sania Mirza and Martina Hingis demolished the challenge of Kristiana Maicke and Jelena Ostapenko to move into the quarterfinals of the championship. The top-seeded Indo-Swiss pair of Sania and Martina overpowered the American-Latvian combination 6-1, 6-0 in the third-round contest that lasted just 46 minutes. Meanwhile, in the men's singles, 2013 Wimbledon champion Andy Murray beat Australian Nick Kyrgios. Murray was able to fend off Kyrgios with a surprising ease, winning 7-5, 6-1, 6-4 in a speedy 1 hour and 42 minutes. Meanwhile, Roger Federer sailed through the quarterfinals after a straight sets victory over world number 28 Steve Johnson. On a mission to build on his current record of 7 Wimbledon titles, which he shares with Pete Sampras, Federer never looked rattled by his 26-year-old opponent as he sailed through 6-2, 6-5, 7-5 in just 97 minutes. Meanwhile, in the women's singles, Serena Williams beat her opponent, two-time major champion Svetlana Kuznetsova 7-5, 6-0 to enter the quarterfinals. Sister Venus Williams also sailed into the quarterfinals with a 7-6, 6-4 win over 12-seeded Carlos Suarez Navarro.
In full control. Oh, yes! She can do anything.
Meanwhile, back home, Prime Minister Narendra Modi met Indian athletes who will represent the country in the forthcoming Rio Olympics in Brazil on Monday. In an event organized in the national capital, Prime Minister Modi interacted with the sportspersons and he extended his best wishes for the Games. As many as 102 athletes from 13 different sport disciplines have been selected for the mega event, the largest ever Indian contingent so far. The previous highest was the 83 that the country sent in 2012 Olympics in London. Now, the 2016 Summer Olympics will be held in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil from 5th of August to 21st of August.
Of course, today we also have the athletes who are going to the Olympics here with us. So my best wishes to them. The entire nation is with you. You all are ambassadors of our country. When you step on your arena there in Rio, you're no longer your name, you're no longer from any state. You are India. And therefore, be the ambassadors that you should be for India.
And more sporting action now in Sports Beat. The Indian 4x100 meters women's relay team created a new national record at the Kazakhstan National Athletics Championships, clocking 43.42 seconds on Monday. The relay team, consisting of Duti Chand, Srabani Nanda, H.M. Jyoti and Marilyn Joseph, broke their own national record of 44.03 seconds, which they had created in the IAAF World Challenge in Beijing earlier in May. The Indian women's relay team won the silver medal, whereas the host Kazakhstan bagged the top honours. Meanwhile, the Indian 4x100 meters men's relay team won the gold medal with a timing of 39.9 seconds. After winning the Grand Prix title at Canada, India's B. Sai Praneeth and doubles pairs of Manu and Sumit will now set their eyes on the $120,000 US Open Grand Prix Gold Badminton Tournament starting today. Praneeth defeated Korea's Lee Hyung 21-12, 21-10. Now, top-seeded Manu and Sumit thrashed the local combine of Edria Liu and Toby Nug 21-8, 21-14 in the lopsided final to win the Grand Prix title. Mark Cavendish of Britain won his 28th Tour de France stage after a photo finish with André Greipel in Angers. The win drew the 31-year-old level with Frenchman Bernard Hinault's tally. There was an initial confusion at the end of the 223.5-kilometer stage as Greipel celebrated before Cavendish was named the winner. That's all in this edition of News. Thanks for watching.